Good morning, everyone. I'm seeing a few people showing up on the comments here. We're going to wait a couple minutes before it's 11 to start the service here. But hi, Sherry Johnson from Arkansas. Lovely to have you with us. Laura Fisher and Chris McCardle. Wonderful to see everybody's faces, names pop up here and your little pictures next to your name here. It's almost like I got people around here with me. There's Laura and Cheryl and Grace. Wonderful to have you guys with us. And my friend Colleen from Las Vegas. We've got people from Las Vegas to Arkansas. Imagine that. It's good to have everybody here joining us. I have just a couple of minutes before it is 11. I'm trying out a new platform here this morning, so you should be seeing a split screen right now with the title of our center's name on it and then my picture next to it. How do you like this little fancy scrolling thing underneath the bottom? Kudos go out to my friend Reverend Bobby Becker for telling me about this program. There's Helen Johnson showing up. Wonderful to see you, Helen. In case you're interested, this is called B.Live. It's a way of splitting your screen and live streaming to Facebook or YouTube. Seems like a pretty cool platform as far as I can tell. Hi, Joan from Las Vegas. Good to see you. Callista, welcome. That's kind of cool. I can see people's names popping up here on my screen. Well, my clock says 11 o'clock, so good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is our live stream from my home here in St. George, Utah, making the best of our sheltering in place and keeping ourselves safe here. So I want to welcome you all to our morning program here. If this is your first time, I'm so thrilled that you're joining us today. This is an amazing place to be. Even if you can't be here in person, it's a wonderful place to have everyone together. My name is Reverend Laura Howlett, and I'm the senior minister here. We are in southern Utah, and we're trying out a new platform this week. So this is called B.Live. So I've been working with it all week, learning it. So I'm excited to see what we can do with this today. So we're going to start off. Cheryl, our fabulous artist in residence, has recorded a couple of videos of her singing. So we're going to have a little bit of music to go along with our service today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Cheryl up on the screen here. Take off that one. Bring up Cheryl, and she's going to sing a very appropriate song for right now, I Will Surrender. And that's going to lead us into our morning invocation. So I'm going to go ahead and hide myself and bring up Cheryl.
Will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free. As I continue walking in this mystery, I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. I am kinder every moment, every day. And I'm more loving every moment, every day. I will surrender every moment, every day.
How good it is to just take that moment and surrender. Knowing that the fullness and the allness of the one power and presence is right here, right now. It is filling the space that each one of us inhabit. It is transmitting itself through the airways. It is the very air we breathe and the life that we lead. For nothing exists outside of this one dynamic, creative energy that has brought forth everything into expression. For spirit truly is every single expression and experience that we have. How good it is to just relax into that knowing, to feel that grace that is, that peace that is, to know that it permeates my very being, that it is infusing itself in the cells of every living expression, that it is showing up magnificently and perfectly as us and as our experience right here and right now. And so I'm just so grateful for each person that is here today joining us online, each person who visits and watches this video later on. I'm so grateful that we have this amazing technology that allows us to communicate in this way, that allows us to actually stay in touch with each other, to see each other, to feel each other, and to know that we are all there, all present, all available, right here and right now. And so I know our time together unfolds beautifully, easily, and effortlessly. For it's already complete in the mind of God, and I just relax into it and allow that divine grace to lead the way. And for this and so much more, I just simply give thanks, and I let it be. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Cheryl. I know you're out there watching, so that was wonderful. What a way to start one of my favorite songs. Of course, I think I say that about most of the songs that you sing, but anyway, thank you so much for being here with us. So my talk title today is Spirit is Every Expression. You know, whenever I'm faced with any kind of challenges in my life, I always go back to those spiritual principles, those things that we believe in. You know, back in 1929, our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote a series of statements that he called the Declaration of Principles. We call them mostly the what we believe statements. But I often use those as the basis for my understanding of spiritual principles. And so I want to talk about a couple of them today. The first one is we believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. Let me repeat that again. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and this goal is sure to be attained by all. There is this ultimate goal of freedom in all life that it's always out there and it's always happening. And so sometimes we're not experiencing it. So sometimes we need to go to other beliefs and other principles to actually understand why it is I'm not exactly experiencing all that. Right now we're dealing with this disease, this virus that's out there, and it's very real, and it is very much part of our experience right now. Back in when Ernest Holmes wrote the Science of Mind textbook, he wrote this statement. He says, "The disease is a fact, but not a truth. It is an experience, but not a spiritual reality." And that's from the Science of Mind textbook. I'm going to put that in the comments here. Disease is a fact, but not a truth. It is an experience, but not a spiritual reality. We are going through this thing right now, and it's often easy to think our beliefs don't make any sense when we are faced with something like this. When we're faced with a challenge like this, then it's hard to sometimes actually see the truth of that. And so the fact is that right now our world is experiencing the coronavirus. But the spiritual reality is that God created everything, and everything that God created is good. And so there has to be something coming from this that's going to be beneficial for us. Nothing exists outside of that one power and presence. And if everything came from God and God created everything and it's good, then this too must be good. Even though right now it's affecting us in quite a varying degrees of difficulty for different people's lives. So this is one of those things that's really hard to kind of get our head around, is how do we take this and not say, well, that's just a bunch of BS. That's just a bunch of our spiritual belief system that is contrary to what we're experiencing right now. And so looking at it this way, we begin to think, okay, what can I do to shift how I'm looking at this coronavirus? I myself have already several times said, well, thank God for the coronavirus, because there are certain things that are happening. Like, for instance, as many of you know, I'm moving to Denver in May. And there are a lot of things that are happening right now that I can't go to Denver right now and work. So it's allowing me to have time to do the things that I really needed to do. And so I think to myself, well, thank goodness I'm stuck at home now, because now I have the time to do the things that I need to be doing. And maybe that's a selfish kind of way of looking at it, but it did make me think, give me pause. It's like, wow, thank you. I now have the time to do the things that I need to do to get myself ready to move. And and I know it's not all about me, but this has been kind of a nice effect in my life. We've had several different things that have happened that have been made easier because we can't do the things life the way we normally did it before now. In cognitive therapy, there's a technique that's called cognitive reframing. And cognitive reframing deals with looking at the belief systems that we have and finding a way to reframe them, to turn them into a positive aspect. So it's a way of shifting our focus around it. Ernest Holmes one of his most famous sayings is, change your thinking, change your life. And that's been a really powerful expression for me in my life. I remember the first time I ever actually put that together, like, wait a minute, how I think about things is showing up in my life. So if I changed how I thought about them, maybe my life would show up differently. And so for me, it was a really powerful statement. And so this cognitive reframing is a lot about that. It's like beginning to look at things and shift the way that we think about them. This is the fact. This is what's happening right now. It is not the spiritual truth. The spiritual truth is life is perfect. But right now, this fact is that we're experiencing this thing that we're calling this disease here. So the definition for cognitive reframing is that reframing is a way of viewing and experiencing events, ideas, concepts, and emotions to find a more positive alternative. I recently saw on Facebook a meme. I love Facebook anyway. A meme about reframing some of the phrases that we're using right now. You may have seen this too. I think I shared it. So we have this term shelter in place right now. Well, what if we change that from shelter in place to artist in residence? And think about that. Even if you're not creating art, you're creating in your life. You are an artist of your life. So what are you able to do now that you are able to be home? So instead of thinking of shelter in place where we're stuck there, think about this time that we have to begin to create things. Here's one: social distancing. Instead of social distancing, use physical distancing. In other words, we're just keeping a physical space between us, but we're still able to socialize. I mean, we can socialize on the phone. We can socialize through the internet. I spend my week last week with at least a minimum of 3 meetings on Zoom where I'm seeing people's faces. I'm talking with them live. And so we're connecting. We happen to be thousands of miles apart, but we're connecting. So there's this idea that we're in fear right now, and we're having to be self-protective. So instead of thinking about this is all about me, I'm afraid and I'm going to protect myself. What about thinking about this as a concern for the collective well-being? So instead of fearing, it's actually concern. And it's not just about me, but it's about everyone else. It's who am I coming in contact with that then I go and come in contact with someone else and I spread it even further. A lot of people have experienced economic challenges right now. So we've heard the phrase economic collapse that is happening. What about instead of focusing on the economic collapse, but the ecological renewal that's happening? I don't know about anybody else, and maybe it's my rose-colored glasses that I look out life through, but I have these beautiful picture windows that look over all of St. George. I'm up on the hill above Town Hall and above the City Hall there, and so every morning I get up and I sit and I spend about an hour in meditation, looking out at those windows as part of my my morning routine. And I don't know, but the last week or so, everything has seemed brighter and clearer. Even though it's been quite rainy here, everything just seems to be brighter for me. And like I said, I don't know. Maybe it's like I said, I got rose-colored glasses on a lot. So anyway. And so instead of thinking of us as being isolated and lonely, what about thinking of us as being in solitude and in solidarity with each other? You know, we are in solitude by ourselves, but we are in solidarity with the entire world. We're actually doing our world work by staying indoors, by keeping ourselves isolated. This is what Joe Goldsmith calls the world work, the things that we need to do in consciousness that are beneficial to everyone. And we don't even have to say a word about them. So if we reframe things, then we can begin to experience things differently by reframing them in our own thought pattern. You know, I think this whole thing of having to be isolated and stay at home has been, for this first week, has been kind of a shock to us. And now that we're kind of we're in the second week of it, we're kind of getting into that groove. of what is it that's really important here. The first week almost felt like forced vacation, that we were, or being laid off or something along those lines, where it was like we were being forced to do this. Now it feels like to me that the opportunity is opening up to actually begin to see a different experience of what is happening here in our world. I think that part of this, I was having a conversation with my beloved friend Colleen the other day, and she reminded me how much this idea of being by ourselves and isolating, social isolation, or this physical distancing that we're doing, is very much what the master teacher commanded us to do 2,000 years ago. And it's to love our neighbors as ourselves. To love our neighbor as ourselves. He said that was the second greatest commandment. The first one was to love God with all thy heart and thy soul and their mind. But then the second one is to love our neighbors as ourselves. To actually begin to understand that me being here is not a punishment. Me having to be isolated is not a punishment, but it's an opportunity for me to give love to everyone else around me by containing this contagion that is spreading so rapidly through our country. To just begin to slow down and to use this time as a spiritual practice. To use this time to allow ourselves to slow down, to just see what wants to unfold through our lives. I think it's an unprecedented opportunity, for one thing, and what a great opportunity. And I would really, really hate to miss it in my own life, to not take this opportunity to spend more time in reflection, to spend more time in meditation, to spend more time contemplating what is important in my life. For me lately, it's been taking care of myself, making sure that I am doing things, because, like I said, that first part felt like, I don't know, many of you know I was an elementary teacher for many years, and that first week kind of felt like, Christmas break, where I just go home and first week and just collapse because I'm so exhausted, and just take that week and do nothing but veg out on Netflix. Now it's starting to shift into something, what do I want this to be? Because I have a feeling that we're getting a new normal is going to be coming out of this. And so what do we want that new normal to be? Do we want to go back to life status quo as what it was before? I think here in the United States, we've been experiencing a lot of fear around our world and our lives changing over the past 4 or 5 years, especially. There has seemed to be a great deal of people who are very resistant to the changes that had been happening prior to the last 4 or 5 years, and wanting to go back to the way things used to be, because that was where they felt comfortable. And I have a feeling that this forced isolation that we've had here is shifting all of that around too. And so we can't go back to the way things used to be. We can't go back to killing our planet the way we have been for the last 100 years. When you read the reports that are coming out of China, where birds are being heard that haven't been heard in forever because there isn't as much noise pollution, where the skies were cleared up in 2 weeks because the smog, there wasn't as much emission from factories and automobiles. We are seeing the effects of a very brief respite from all of these things that we've been doing to our world for the last 100 years. And I think people are really beginning to see that. And I think that this is an opportunity that we have that I would really, really hate for us to miss. I know in my own life, I don't want to miss the chance that I'm being given right now to create my new normal life. It's kind of funny. On January 1st, I was creating my journal, and my theme for this year was a year of intentional living. And it's been amazing how all these different things have shown up to bring me to that in a very short period of time. Really in about 10 weeks, my life has become very intentional and very purposeful. And so it's kind of an opportunity for us to set the intention that we want for our lives, to take this a moment of this experience that we're having dealing with this virus, and begin to look and see what is really important to me, and what do I want my life to look like after the coronavirus, and really actually take that into some thought. We've got the time. Thank you, coronavirus. We've been given the time to do this work. I think it's a deep soul work that we've been called to do, and I would love to hear how it's showing up in your lives. So so I'm gonna just close us out here with a little bit of prayer, and then I've got another song from Cheryl, actually a brand new song that she just wrote, and so I'm excited about that. So if you would take a moment and take in a nice deep breath. As we simply turn within to that place in consciousness, I call it my heart center. That place where I feel that presence, where I feel it moving through me, enlivening me, showing up as me. And dropping into this place in consciousness, I simply know that there is only one. One power, one presence, one divine creative source of all. One infinite, eternal, loving intelligence that has brought forth everything into creation. Is simply a representation of itself. And this one is known by many names, and it shows up in many forms and many experiences. But in my own experience, I simply know it as God. And I know that God is all there is. And because I know that God is all there is, I know that I am one with it. That all that I am, all that I have ever been, and all that I am yet to be is a divine expression of the one, endowed with that perfection and wholeness, that love and that creativity, that wisdom and intelligence and clarity. That is the truth of my being. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for each one of you. For we are all divine emanations of the one, unique expressions of God here on earth. And so in complete realization of the power and the presence of God manifested as all life, I speak my word. I know that right now we have been given an opportunity to surrender deeper than we have ever surrendered before, to allow the grace that is God to lead us, to move us, to guide us into a new state of being, into a new direction in life, to a new way of living here on earth with each other. And what a great and glorious opportunity we have been given to simply show up and be that divine expression of love, of truth, of peace, and of generosity to everyone that we encounter. We have been given a great and glorious moment in history, one that has never happened before like this. And it is our divine opportunity not to waste it. I'm so grateful to know this. I'm so grateful to feel this power and presence. I'm so grateful to see all of the magnificent ways that it is operating right here, right now, in the midst of all of this crisis. I know the presence of God is right there. And how good it is to know that, how good it is to feel that. And so I just simply release this word into the law, to that creative mind that always says yes, that knows no limitation, no lack. I just simply let it go, and I let it be. And so it is. Amen. I just realized I was playing the same song again. Okay. Here's Cheryl's brand new song.
High school.
No. What the hell? Okay. There we go.
Times are surely changing. The days are rearranging. I feel the unfamiliar moving in. I could be so uncertain, trying to see behind the curtain, but there's nothing there for proving or to win. So I go inside, I let my mind be quiet, I take those roads that I put off for tonight. I take the time to heal, to see, to breathe, to feel. The Spirit's there everywhere, and when I lose myself, I find it. The news sends out its warning, and the world responds in mourning, how to hold it all without being consumed. Dear ones near and far seem farther, and fear wants us not to bother, but love can always find a way to bloom. And so I go inside, let my mind be quiet, I take those roads that I put off for tonight. This space is mine, I can't slow down this time. The Spirit's there everywhere, yes, I will go inside and let my mind be quiet. I take those roads that I put off for tonight. Spirit's there everywhere, and when I lose myself, I'll find it.
How beautiful, Cheryl. Now that I finally got that up, that was a gorgeous song. Thank you so much. I've got a couple of announcements here for us just before we finish up today. First off, I want to invite you to send us your prayer requests. We have an email address that we were happy to respond to you on that, and then we can also take phone messages on our phone line here. We have somebody checking that every day. So if you'd like a prayer request, please don't hesitate. let us know what's happening. Let's see, hide that one. And then I have set up for us today a Zoom conference for us to get online together, have a little fellowship so we could actually see each other's faces. If you haven't experienced Zoom before, it's kind of like being on Hollywood Squares. So we have everybody up there in a little square with your face. And so you just click onto a link. You can do it on your phone, tablet, iPad, computer, whatever device you want. A smartphone it has to be, as long as you have internet connection. Some way you can be able to get on there. And it's very, very easy. There's in the comments here, and I also sent out a constant contact email this morning for everyone with that information there too. So make sure that you come and join us at noon today. We're going to set up some fellowship, and then we'll see if we can continue that throughout the week. Also, we'll set up some times for different Zoom calls. So just a chance for us to get together and see each other. So it's in the it's on Facebook. I posted a post on Facebook. It's not there yet. It should be coming up. I think I set it to come up at 11:45. So you can just click on the link that's in the post, or click on the link from the email that you may have received this morning from our center. So join us for some fellowship today. So we haven't done this for a while, and I know since we're all apart, but let's just go ahead and end. Oh, one other thing I want to tell you. Our journals came in. Those of you that ordered the spiritual journals, they actually came in. So if Sue hasn't contacted you yet about that, just go ahead and give us a message on our phone number, and we'll get that to you so as soon as possible. I plan to go back to the themes next month. It's actually perfect because April is about bright beginnings. And so how much better can we get than see what's coming and being birthed through this experience that we're having today, or this month with the coronavirus. So anyway, so we'll go back to our themes for next month for that. Okay, let's close with our affirmation. So if you would, repeat after me, please. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do. I am it. I embrace it. And I share it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it's becoming. Thank you, life. Have a blessed and beautiful week, everyone. Bye-bye.